Welcome to this maths memory video. This is week number 7 and this is the bronze tier question. It's both on foundation and high level. So let's get your revision planner out. Let's make sure we know where this is and let's hit this grade 4/5 question on this topic. So let's get a revision card, your master maths memory card. Let's write the following under this learning objectives over here. So we're going to show you how to understand or identify rather first discrete data and how to calculate the mean, median and mode, the 3 M's from discrete data. Mainly looking at obviously frequency tables when we do this. Also continuous data, you'll be an expert in understanding how to identify this and applying it to find the mean, median and mode. Again, the same thing from the context of a frequency table. Give yourself a space over here for your best examples, and hopefully by the end of this video we'll have 3 concise steps to help you guide through the Let's Do It questions, which you can do all by yourself. Let's turn over for our toolkit revision card. So this is my toolkit, the space for your best methodologies during this video or frequency tables. So get your card. Let's write 3 clear sections, A, B and C, to make sure we have these down. Question 1, back to basics. Frequency tables. Let's press pause. Let's write this introductory question down on frequency tables. The 3 M's are the key things, the mean, median and mode. We're going to get through this topic here in maths memory. So press play when you have finished parts A, B and C. The table below shows information about the points scored in a quiz by a year group. So these are your 2 different columns. They always give you 2 columns in this topic called statistics, okay, so or handling data as they call it. Here is your topic points and here is your frequency, number of students. So what is the modal number of points? So modal means most common or the most frequent, okay. We always read off the first column over here. So how many students scored the most points? Well, 12 students scored 7 points. So 7 is clearly the modal score over here, modal number of points. How many students took part in the quiz? That means how many, were in the sample size or frequency over here. Let's add them up together. 12 plus 8 plus 7 plus 5. On the calculator, you can do that. It's going to be 32. Next question, part C. Work out the total number of points scored altogether. So how many were scored altogether in total by these 32 pupils? So to do that, we're going to add up a new column over here. And this sets the scene for one of the M's. M's mean either mean, median and mode. We're going to see in a second in this section to come. So first of all, how many points were scored in total by these 12 students? We do 7 times 12, 84. How many were, we'll call this total if you want to over here. Okay, how many were scored by 8 altogether? 8 pupils, 64. How many points were scored by these 7 students? 9 times 7, 63. And how many were scored in total by these 5 students over here? 10 times 5, 50. So what do we do? The total of all of these we add up together. On the calculator, it is going to be 261. So 261 points was the total number of points scored by all 32 pupils. Okay, so that's how you do parts A, B and C. This sets you up nicely for our core questions to come. So let's get a revision card out. Let's head it discrete and the mean. Okay, and 2 steps to do this. You just figured out how to create the mean from a frequency table, discrete. Step 1, you add an XF column. Step 2, you apply the mean. It's the 3rd column, the total of the 3rd column, sigma XF divided by the total of the 2nd column, which is N. N means total of frequency. Press pause, make sure you've got this. Question 1, core 1, frequency tables. Let's press pause and write this question down. Our first exam style core question on frequency tables. We're going to be learning about the mean here, how to understand and interpret and find the mean, in fact. Let's write parts A and B down and press play when you're done. Now the table below shows information about the number of plums in a bag. Okay, so we have 2 different clear columns representing this frequency table, plums in a bag and the frequency of bags. So this just means there are 9 bags that contain 4 plums each. Okay, 6 plums that contain 5 plums each, and vice versa all the way through. Part A, the total number of plums in all the bags, okay, is 170. Find X. So we have to understand the context of this question first before we can attempt this, okay? As we said, there are 9 bags and each of them contain 4 plums each. The 4 plumber bag, let's say, the 4-plum bag. So how many plums are there in all of these 9 bags? There are 36 because we do 4 times 9. Understand why we times them as well. Don't just accept it, in the answer booklet. Now over here, again, we have 6 bags. Each of these 6 bags contain 5 plums each. How many plums are there all together? We times them together. So we get the drift. Let's times them all, okay? 6 times 8, 48. Now over here, 7 times x. There's no number here, so we'll write 7x. And this total has got to give you 170. All the different plums in all these particular bags, the 4-plum bag, the 5-plum bag, the 6-plum bag, the 7-plum bag, has to give you 170. Let's add them up together over here. 36 plus 30 plus 48. So we get this. We get 114 plus 7x. Okay, this has to give us 170. So therefore, 7x has got to give us 170. Take away 114. We got the 114, by the way, by adding 9 plus 6 plus 8. I didn't really explain that well. So anyway, look, 9 plus 6 plus 8, or these numbers rather, what I meant by that, this gives us 114 over here, all right? So now 170 take away 114, that will give us 56. 7x equals 56. X is a nice round whole number, 8. So this would give us 8 over here. There are 8 bags, each containing 7 plums in each of these 8 bags. Find x. We have. So x is basically 8. That is the answer over here. So indirectly, we're finding out if you understand how to calculate and interpret the mean. Okay, we'll be using this last column in a different way in the questions to come. Hence, find out the mean number of plums in a bag. So the mean number is this. If there are 170 plums altogether, okay, and there are, let's see how many bags there are. So 9 plus 6, 15. 15 plus 8, 23. 23 plus 8, 31. There are 31 bags. Each of these 31 bags, all these 31 bags rather, contain 170 plums. If all 31 bags contain 170 plums, one bag has got to be 170 over 31. Okay, so if you do this on the calculator to 3 significant figures, 5.48 would be your answer. Okay, the 3 sig figs. So obviously we can't have 5.48 plums, but let's write this because it's told us that. Obviously we can use some common sense in the exam by rounding up to the nearest whole number, or what it may be, if you see that's needed. There we go. There we go. Question 2, Core 2, frequency tables. Let's write this question down, this frequency table, these 2 columns on a piece of paper, and let's work out the mean and median of this continuous set of data. Press play when you're ready. Now the table below shows information about the distance in kilometers pupils live from their school. Now we have 2 clear columns over here, distance, which is in continuous data because they are in class intervals over here, okay, which means x could be anywhere between 1 and 5. The number of kilometers could be between 1 and 5 over here. And this frequency, which means 7 pupils could lie between 1 to 5 kilometers, including 1 and 5. Inclusively. So let's find the mean distance a pupil lives from school. To do the mean, we need 2 columns. We need to add 2 columns for this. This will always be a calculated paper over here. The first one we do is the mid value. Okay, we need to create a mid value to estimate the actual distance because we don't know where these 7 pupils would live. They could all live 1 kilometer or all 5 kilometers. A quick little trick we use for this, if x includes 1 and 5 as well, I may write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over here, and what I'll do, I'll now find the median from this. I'll cross off either side, 1 pair, 2 pairs, 3 is your mid value. Once you've got 3 as the first one, they tend to go up in a specific sequence if these are the same kind of intervals within these boundaries over here. So 3, this will be 8, 13, 18. Next column over here would be xf, x times f, or f times x. It doesn't make a difference. This means 7 pupils on average live 3 kilometers each. Okay, so if all 7 should live 7 times 3, 21 kilometers. Okay, this means all 10 pupils, each of them live 8 kilometers. All 10 pupils should live 10 times 8, 80. We keep going with all of these. 6 times 13, which will be 78, and the double 18, 36. So these are our two columns, mid value and XF, extremely important for finding the mean. What we'll do now, we are basically going to add all of these over here, the XF. So if we do that, we're going to get an answer of 215. 215 is the addition of this column XF. This means, and if you add this frequency column, 25, it means 25 pupils altogether live 215 kilometers. So 25 pupils live 215 kilometers collectively. One pupil must be 215 divided by. Part B of this question, find the median distance a pupil lives from school. So this is a bit different from the question before. It's about adding just one column now. So what we're going to do is rub off all of this over here. These two columns are just for the mean only. Okay, we'll leave that there. The median. Now let's explain what the median is. Now this is for a frequency table, obviously. It's not the median from a list of data, but we still use this this little formula, n over 2. Okay, a value. Okay, so n is going to be 25 over here. 25 divided by 2, it gives you your 12.5 value. So it's like if you had, let's say, 25 pupils listed up in a list or row, you would find the middle value, which is 12.5 value. Where does that person live over here? Which class interval? So we call a column called CF, for cumulative frequency. You may have come across this before. And we're going to keep adding all these frequencies over here. 7, 7 plus 10, 17, 17 plus 6, 23, 23 plus 2. Now you want the 12.5 value. This means 7 pupils altogether live between 1 to 5 kilometers. Okay, that means the 8th pupil would actually live between 6 and 10. Even the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, all the way up to the 17th one. Okay, that person would live between 11 to 15 kilometers. So we don't want the 17th, we don't want the 7th or 8th, we want the 12.5th person. That would be between clearly 6 and 10. So you have to understand this, and the way we understand it is obviously creating this last column, cumulative frequency, keep adding the frequency together, but stating the 12.5 or the middle value over here. So this is the answer for this one. So you have just learned how to calculate the mean from continuous data, okay, with respect to a frequency table. So again, there are 2 steps to this. You added a first column called the mid value column, and secondly, you added an XF column, okay, your third and fourth column respectively. Once you did this, you applied the mean formula, which is sigma XF over n, which basically means your fourth column added up divided by your second column. The second column was the total of the frequency. So press pause, make sure you've got these down on here. So this is Toolkit Part C. This is where we show you how to find the median. You've just done this already, so make sure you have these 2 steps over here. So when you have a frequency table, add a third column, call it total column, or you call it CF sometimes, standing for cumulative frequency, but we haven't done that topic yet, that's why I haven't called it CF, but call it total if you need to. Step 2, you apply n plus 1 over 2 or n over 2, depending if it's discrete or continuous respectively. Press pause to make sure you've got these 2 parts down for the median. So here we are at the end of this frequency table maths memory video. Let's see what we have learned and understood during this process so far. So let's get a card out. So have you learned with respect to a frequency table how to identify discrete data, and more importantly how to apply these 3 statistics, okay, the mean, the median and mode. So the mean means you add 1 column more on your frequency table called fx or xf. Median, n plus 1 over 2. Mode is the most common. Discrete normally are whole numbers, let's say, in the first column of your frequency table. If you understand that, give yourself a tick. Have you understood how to identify continuous data, which is mainly in a class interval, okay, between 2 numbers? Have you learned how to create the mean, which is adding 2 columns on your frequency table, mid value and xf, the median, n over 2, the mode, the most common number. If you've learned that, give yourself a tick as well. What are your best examples so far you've picked up from this video? Write them over here. 3 different top tips we have on this topic. So the first thing you do when you see a question on frequency tables, what data is this? Okay, identify it. Is it discrete or continuous? Once you have that, you can add the respective amount of columns, okay, depending if it's discrete or continuous, and apply the formula, or formally should we say, depending on what you want to find out, the mean or median in this case. Let's turn over to our consolidated toolkit to make sure you have the right ingredients for you to tackle these Let's Do It questions all by yourself, just with your revision cards you have just done. So let's write these 3 steps down on our toolkit, and these are the 3 different categories we need to really master when we do Let's Do It questions. So you need to be an expert in identifying discrete and continuous data and applying it to frequency tables as well, how we've done over here for the mean, median, and mode. So let's get cracking on this, and let's go over the questions right now. Question 1, let's do it. So now let's get the chance to apply your knowledge and your understandings from your core style exam questions. You should have your written revision notes written and your toolkits all set, and the 3 M's should seem a piece of cake, the mean, median, and mode for your frequency table. So let's get your notes together and let's try the best to apply them towards this question. Press play when you're ready. Question 2, let's do it. Again, let's press pause and let's attempt this continuous data frequency table, and let's try to find the mean and the median in parts A and B. Once you're done and use your cards, press play. Congratulations on finishing this topic, frequency tables. It's a week 7 topic and a bronze tier. So make sure you go back to your revision planner and how well have you understood those key concepts of discrete data and continuous data. Have you been able to apply the mean, median, and mode as well on frequency tables? If you have, and your revision cards look good, and more importantly, if your Let's Do It questions have matched up to your cards, give yourself a good mark on your feel good factor on planner right there.